One of the most frustrating parts of being a person with a lot of different interests or passions is the tension. The tension between the big dreams, the big goals, and the inability to focus on just one of them long enough to really make it become something. I have 3 YouTube channels, multiple blogs that I insist I'm still active on, an Instagram account that I say is my main Instagram account, but I haven't posted more than 7 times all year, and a whole graveyard of abandoned creative side quests, couples photography, website building, novel writing, crocheting, and they're all taking turns trying to come back from the dead and make me work on them at the worst possible times. Usually it's when something else is actually starting to work and build momentum. Like when I got my newest YouTube channel monetized in just 3 months. And said this:
KM Marriott has grown faster than anything I've worked on to date, and I don't want to curb that momentum as I'm often tempted to do.
But this is where we're at right now. But despite all that, I have still managed to make content creation my full-time job. And so if you see yourself in just a sliver of all of that chaos and are somebody who wants to make content creation a career of some sort, I have good news and bad. Let's start with the good news. If you are a multi-passionate person and have decided to pursue content creation, you are in for a very rewarding journey. The amount of hats you need to wear and the new skills you need to learn to be able to get this thing off the ground are a lot. And if you're lucky, for at least a little bit, it might satisfy your urge to try a different creative venture altogether. Over the past 10 years, I've not only been able to play with my camera for photography and video shooting, but also learn how to create in a number of different programs. Like for my last video, where I went on a 5-hour creative research spiral in After Effects just to make this few-second clip. As a creator, you might find yourself learning your way around lighting setups or set deck as you try to make a really cool background, which I obviously haven't achieved yet. You might learn a little bit of graphic design as you put together your YouTube thumbnails or Instagram carousels. There's no shortage of creative pursuits that fall under this umbrella of content creation. This job was made for people like us. Also, nothing is wasted as a content creator. When I quit my day job, a lot of people asked me if I was scared that if content creation didn't work out, I wouldn't be able to re-enter the workforce. I said no, because I have picked up a lot of transferable skills through content creation, in addition to my time in a traditional 9-to-5, that I know would be an asset going forward if I did need to try to get a more traditional job. I think the same thing can be said with a creator's multiple pursuits. Because we have this tendency to try a lot of different things, we're actually more equipped than we might think to be able to take on those future ventures. And the final piece of good news, which I think a lot of you might be thinking is the best news, it's that despite all of this chaos, you can still make a career as a multi-passionate content creator. I've made a living out of being a content creator for the past 3.5 years. I have worked with my dream brands, I have found the coolest community of like-minded people, and I get to feel super creatively fulfilled. But here's where the bad news comes in, the part that you maybe don't want to hear. I actually think there's a problem that runs deeper than this pull between your big dreams, your big goals, and the lack of focus required to achieve them. I think it's actually a battle between expectations versus reality. Now, I think because a lot of us with multiple interests are just inherently dreamers, like the big idea of achieving something or being able to pull off a particular project is actually what motivates a lot of us. And so I'm not trying to clip your wings and say that you're dreaming too big, but I do think it's important for us to understand the rules of the game that we're playing. If we don't want to play a game a certain way, we have to be okay with whatever the results are. YouTube education channels often get a bit of flack for telling people to niche down or to be consistent. People say that they don't want to be put in a box. You don't know me. I have too many interests to niche down. But then they still keep commenting on these channels, asking them for advice on how to grow their YouTube channel, how to get monetized, how to get a YouTube plaque, hoping to be told something different. But although that might not feel like the most natural strategy for us multi-passionate people, there's nothing wrong with the advice. The YouTube content creator experts aren't saying that you can't have a million different channels or that you can't post about a million different things on your one channel. It's just that if you do, you might not have the desired outcome. So where does that leave us? We need to either change our goal or change our strategy. If your singular goal is to achieve 1 million subscribers on YouTube, we can't pretend that that doesn't require a sharp business strategy, consistency, and near single-minded focus in order to make that happen. I personally know a couple people with over 1 million subscribers, and though they do have other social media presences, they aren't putting an equal weight into all of them. YouTube is the business. If you're striving for 100,000 subscribers, I think you can stretch your focus a little bit more. A lot of the creators I know who have passed 100K are pretty active in short form, but none of them have the amount of chaos and multiple presences and side quests going on like I do. If your goal is not necessarily around numbers and you just want to make a career out of this thing, you still want to be able to attract brand deals, get your accounts monetized, connect with amazing people while being able to dabble in things that excite you. Strategy is still needed, but there's a lot more wiggle room and your focus can be a bit more on the moderate side. This, if you haven't guessed it, is me. But wait, there's still another category. If you truly just want to use your creative ventures as a personal outlet, and you just want to find your little corner of the internet to document your journey, and you'd be perfectly happy with at least a handful of recurring faces to call your community, then do all the things at whatever pace you want, however you feel like doing it. And none of these categories are wrong. I genuinely admire the people pursuing the 1 million subs just as much as I do those posting for personal fulfillment. There's no wrong way to do this content creation thing. I find this all really similar to the core of this video actually, where I said, if you want to vlog about your day, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you that vlogging is wrong or bad. But if you want to grow an audience and make money on YouTube, vlogging has been proven to not be the most strategic way to do so. So those dead set on vlogging need to either temper their expectations or approach their vlogs in a more strategic way. And it's a hard pill to swallow because I know that I am delusional enough to think that I can do everything, but we are one person. Our time and our effort is not infinite. So to be able to get one venture, one YouTube channel off the ground and to a place that makes us happy, then we need to focus in on it a bit more. So here are some things that have grounded me along my journey and that can potentially help ground and guide you. First, get honest about what you really want. What does success look like to you? What do you want to achieve? And then be honest with yourself with the amount of sacrifice or strategy that might be required to get you there. The framing of my last video on this channel was a little cheeky. I've been posting for 10 years, still no plaque. But most of you, because most of you, I'm realizing, are like me, got what I was trying to say. The plaque was never the goal, and it's not my own personal marker of success. And so while I do still put pressure on myself to do more, focus more, strategize more, it's because there are still so many opportunities I want to unlock, brands that I want to work with, income goals that I want to hit. It's not to hit 100,000 subscribers. So the extent to which I try to rein in my multiple passion projects and side ventures will be done accordingly. And on a little bit more of a practical note, if you have different ventures that would appeal to the same target audience, stack your projects wherever it makes sense. Ask yourself how you can layer them in so that they're not spread out in a million different places. When I first started creating content, I was super niche down in natural hair care, and it was all under the name Comfy Girl Curls. And then with time, when I wanted to document my love for books and writing, that didn't really fit into that niche, so I started a second social media account. And then after that, when I wanted to talk about content creating tips, it didn't fit in with either of those audiences, so I made this account. But as time continued, that main account, Comfy Girl Curls, specifically on Instagram, began to share more aspects of beauty and lifestyle and just me as a person. And so then I actually decided to go back to my Comfy Girl Curls Instagram account and rebranded that to just my name, folding in some of these different tangents so that I could be a little bit more focused. Now on that same account, I could talk about the books that I was reading, I could talk about my journey writing, and I could talk about what it was like to move abroad, because all that was still for the same core audience. But sometimes the layering in does not make sense. I know a lot of really well-meaning people ask me why I didn't just put my vlog content on this channel. Why didn't I keep it all in one place? But we've actually been told by YouTube that that is not how YouTube works. YouTube has said quite clearly, different audience, different channel. And I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole because boy, can I go down this rabbit hole. That's where it goes back to the whole expectations versus reality and realistic goal setting. Because I absolutely could have one channel for absolutely everything, but my personal goals were around having a cohesive audience and getting my channel monetized and eventually being able to pitch brands very specific to each platform. And so for the times when layering doesn't work and you're stretched far too thin, allow yourself to think in seasons. You're allowed to let your different ventures rest. Doing so doesn't mean you've quit, and it doesn't mean you failed. Being multi-passionate is a gift. It might feel heavy sometimes, but I do really feel like it helps us play the long game. We just have to figure out what is going to fulfill us the most. The ability to let our creative arms fly in a million directions, or a million subscribers, or most likely, something in between. And because as creators with multiple interests, we can very easily fall into the trap of wanting to just vlog our life and make a business out of that. I advise you to watch this next and proceed with caution. Thanks for watching, and until next time.